Islam Makhachev's manager, Rizvan Magomedov, has contradicted coach Javier Mendez's earlier backing of a potential super fight with Ilia Topuria. Despite only having one fight at lightweight in the UFC, Ilia's push for an immediate title shot was supported by coach during a recent interview on Submission Radio. However, UFC legend Khabib Nurmagomedov took a different stance, suggesting that El Matador needs at least one big win in the lightweight division before he should be considered for a title shot. In a recent post on X, Islam's manager, Rizvan Magomedov, responded to Ilia's move to lightweight, suggesting a fight against either Dustin Poirier or Charles Oliveira to prove his legitimacy in the division. Topuria versus Dustin or Charles as a contender fight to prove he's a legit lightweight, so we don't have to fight another small featherweight. We need big fights that make sense for everyone. Magomedov was referring to Makhachev's two title defenses against Volkanovski, the featherweight champ, both of which saw Islam retain his belt. El Matador's decision to vacate his title came in response to the UFC's new rule regarding two-weight championship pursuits. Under this rule, if a current UFC title holder wants to fight for another belt, they'll have to vacate their current title, ending the possibility of replicating Conor McGregor's champ pursuit. With UFC 314 and UFC 315 recently announced, Makhachev could potentially make his next title defense at UFC 316, which is tentatively scheduled for June. Dustin Poirier doesn't like Ilia Topuria's chances against Islam Makhachev. As DP awaits news on what is expected to be his final fight, he remains closely watching the developments in the lightweight division. Islam Makhachev has hinted at the possibility of pursuing a second title, though his next move is still unclear. While jumping to welterweight might seem like a logical step, Makhachev has shown hesitation due to his close relationship with current 170-pound champion Belal Muhammad. Instead, he suggested that a move up to middleweight could be more likely. Poirier, however, has his doubts about whether such a jump would be a realistic option for Makhachev. Quote, "I think Islam would do really well at 170 pounds, 185, the guys are just too big. Islam's a big guy. He can fight 170 for sure. He could become the champion at 170, I believe, but 185's pushing it, I think. And at lightweight, if Ilia can stop Islam's takedowns, his boxing's better than Islam's. He's a bigger puncher. Islam's technique is getting a lot better on the feet. He's kinda crafty and elusive. When I fought him, he fought at a weird range. The size difference is just too much for Ilia, I believe." End quote. After securing impressive knockout victories over Alex Volkanovski and Max Holloway in 2024, El Matador quickly set his sights on a title fight against Islam Makhachev. With both Makhachev and Topuria contemplating career-altering moves, the lightweight division continues to be one of the most captivating in the UFC. As Poirier nears the end of his career, he remains an active observer, offering valuable insights into the evolving landscape of the division. In a recent interview with Russian channel Usha Taika, Umar Nurmagomedov opened up about a tense altercation with Nate Diaz that took place at UFC weigh-ins. According to Umar, Diaz initially walked past him, Khabib, and Islam Makhachev without saying a word, but as soon as there was some distance and security nearby, Diaz suddenly switched up, pointing fingers and shouting across the room. Things escalated when he started throwing objects in their direction, trying to provoke a reaction. Khabib and his team, however, weren't fazed. He claimed that they had already dealt with Diaz in the past and saw no reason to engage again. To them, it was just another instance of Nate stirring up trouble when he knew he was protected. Despite the tension, the situation never turned physical as security quickly stepped in before things could get out of hand. Nate's one of those guys who acts tough when security is around. When he walked past me, Khabib, and Islam, he didn't do anything. If he really wanted to punch me or anyone, he was just one step away, but instead of actually doing it, he walked away and started pointing fingers and throwing stuff our way from a distance. He started it, but honestly, we don't care about that guy at all. We've already given him what he deserved. It was a long time ago and we smacked him. Now, Umar is focused on bouncing back after his first career loss. He dominated Corey Sandhagen in August, securing his first main event win by unanimous decision, but later suffered a setback against Merab Dvalishvili. Despite recently revealing a fractured arm that initially cast doubt on his availability, he's determined to return stronger in 2025. With plenty of big fights on the horizon, fans are eager to see how Umar rebounds and what's next for him in the bantamweight division. What are your thoughts? Who do you think Umar faces in his comeback fight? Leave your comments below. On the ESPN YouTube channel, DC and Chael Sonnen reacted to the fight between Michael Chandler and Paddy Pimblett, both expressing their excitement about the matchup. DC highlighted how Chandler fighting in Miami makes sense, given that he trains in South Beach. He also noted that Chandler is at a point in his career where he's willing to give the next generation a chance, with the understanding that if Paddy can't handle the challenge, it would be a huge victory for Chandler. Chael agreed and pointed out that Paddy needs to be cautious of Chandler's powerful right hand, warning that Iron Mike could shut his lights out. However, Chael was particularly impressed by Paddy's performance against Bobby Green, saying he'd never seen him look better. He admitted his perspective on Paddy has shifted. He used to view him as more of a sideshow act, but after meeting him in person, he was impressed by the man behind the persona. He noted that Paddy is not just about the flashy antics. He's a dedicated family man with a wife and 2 children. Chael emphasized that Paddy has already dealt with adversity, injuries, and controversy, showing growth and resilience with every fight.
Dude, this is a big fight. I love the idea that Michael Chandler gets to fight in Miami. He trains down there in South Beach. I love the idea that Paddy Pimblett gets an opportunity. You know, one of the problems at 155 is that these top 5-6 guys have been unwilling to give the next guy, like you say, drop the ladder down and see if they can climb. Michael Chandler seems to be at a point in his career where he's going, I'll leave that ladder for the next guy, see if he can climb the mountain. But if he can't, that'll be a massive win for Chandler. But one thing Paddy Pimblett better realize, Chael, he cannot get hit by Iron Mike, because Mike will shut your lights out.
I agree with that. You know, the way I used to speak about Paddy is no longer how I see him. I mean, I used to kind of think this thing was a sideshow. I thought he'd be good for selling some tickets. And Daniel, he is not what you would think. First off, he's surrounded with professionals. Paddy's married with 2 children. I mean, Paddy's a man.
In a recent video on his YouTube channel, Israel Adesanya admitted that his mindset has shifted following his recent losses, and chasing the title is no longer his main focus. Reflecting on his defeat to Dricus du Plessis, Izzy initially believed another title shot would come naturally, but now he's letting go of expectations. He acknowledges that if everything he's accomplished in the sport hasn't already satisfied him, another title won't necessarily change that, while he won't turn down an opportunity if it comes. For now, he's just enjoying life, training, and taking things as they come. Still, Adesanya isn't paying attention to critics who call him washed, dismissing the notion he fired back, questioning how people who haven't even stepped into the fire themselves can judge him. What do you think of Adesanya's new mindset? Is he taking the right approach, or should he still be chasing the title? Leave your comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for daily MMA news.